First of all, Kyiv is preparing for the first visit of France's Defence Minister Sébastien Lecornu since this invasion began. What more do we know about his trip and what we might see come out of it?
Yeah, that's right. So the French Defence Minister is expected here in Kyiv today. For the first time since the start of the war, he'll meet his Ukrainian counterpart. He was just in Poland yesterday meeting with his Polish counterpart. So today he's expected to visit a monument here in Kyiv to pay tribute to those who have died in the war. And his visit coming off the back of comments by French President Emmanuel Macron pledging to increase France's military support for Ukraine well into 2023, including more deliveries of those Caesar cannons. So, a bit of pressure perhaps on the French Defense Minister to make some sort of announcement to show his support for Ukraine, to perhaps announce some sort of boost to France's military support here in the country. But you have to put this visit into context, because you have to bear in mind that France, it falls far behind some other nations when it comes to the amount it actually gives to Ukraine. It's behind the United Kingdom, for example. It's far behind the US, of course. And as a proportion of GDP, it falls even further down the list. And then you have to bear in mind, too, that many people here in Ukraine have criticized French President Emmanuel Macron for what they see as his rather ambiguous stance towards Russian President Vladimir Putin. He's positioned himself as being far more open to peace talks with the Russian leader compared to other Western leaders. In the past, he's made comments saying things like Russia's president shouldn't be humiliated over his decision to start this war. So those kind of comments drawing, sharp criticism from the government here and the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky. It created quite a rift between the two at one point. So it will be very interesting to see how this visit pans out today.
And Andy, along with the rest of the France 24 team on the ground there with you, you've been to one eastern community which, like so many others across Ukraine, is now battling to stay warm and lit this wintertime.
Absolutely. Millions of Ukrainians across the country are still without power, some 9 million in the latest count given by President Zelensky. And, the energy minister also saying that he fears that Russia could intensify its bombardment of critical energy infrastructure around festive dates like the New Year. And we've spent the last week really reporting a lot on the energy crisis here in the country. In Kyiv, we've seen how energy rationing has left people without power for days on end. But as you were saying, just a few days ago, we were in the region of Kharkiv where we visited a village some 10 kilometers from the Russian border. And it's a village that's gone 10 months now without any electricity. At one point, it was on the front line of this war, so it suffered heavy bombardment from both sides. But despite that, you've got villagers, people still living in these far-flung places, getting used to life without power, without running water. And it's only now, 10 months later, that electrical engineers are finally able to start the work hooking up these places back up to the power grid. And they're doing that despite the risk to their lives. There's the risk of landmines, of course, and there's the fact that we're starting to enter the harshest winter months where temperatures regularly drop below freezing, and they're having to work in these conditions.
Okay, Andrew Hilliar there in the Ukrainian capital. Thank you very much.